I am and have always been an avid believer in the philosophy of discipline being the key to freedom. However, I believe that there is currently, and more than likely has been for many years, a false narrative going on around the attainment or the improvement upon one's discipline, upon one's baseline discipline levels, the amount of discipline that one has or one is capable of. And to really boil down that word discipline, it is, to me, being in line with one's purpose and being not only capable, but willing to do that which must be done because it is purposeful to you, because it is what should be done, even though you don't necessarily feel like doing it. That, to me, is what discipline means. And I believe that discipline is an integral part of every man's life. However, I want to go back to this false narrative that we have going on and that I see people discussing at length and preaching to the masses on a regular basis. And this false narrative really is predicated upon the idea that the approach to building discipline for an individual should be through the removal of environments and situations in which one must be disciplined. Okay, so now, because you might be getting lost in my words here, I want to give a real world example that I have more recently come upon. In recent years, I was looking to really dial in my financial discipline, okay? Saving, investing, you get my point. And I stumbled upon this individual that I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with, Dave Ramsey. He's very mainstream. He preaches a lot of things about building financial discipline, literacy, etc., etc. However, there is a very fundamental problem with that man's philosophy. And one of his main pillars, his leading pillars for his philosophy, is to cut up the credit card. Anybody that has watched any Dave Ramsey content is probably familiar with the cutting up of the credit card. However, that is not, as soon as I heard that, now I have been a fairly disciplined individual for the majority of my life. I was very blessed to be brought up by two loving parents that were very disciplined in their own realms of life and demanded discipline of their children, both my younger brother and I. And so I was looking through this lens of already having built years of discipline mentally, very physically disciplined. I am very regimented with my physical routine, as many of you know through my content. But as soon as I saw his videos, I immediately realized a problem in his narrative, and that was that cutting up the credit card, removing the opportunity to swipe that card, was in some way going to help people to build financial discipline in order to get themselves out of a bad financial situation or to improve upon their current situation. Now, here's my problem with that. And this can apply to any realm of discipline, mind you, is that by cutting up the credit card, you are removing the opportunity for you to actually be disciplined. And the only way to build discipline is to practice discipline. Okay, I'm going to say that again. The only way to genuinely build discipline in your life is to actually practice discipline. So by removing that card, you remove all the need for you to be disciplined. I can go into any store. Let's say I cut up my credit card, okay? I go into the store, I say, man, I really want to buy this new gun that they have, but it's I don't have my credit card, so I mean, I can't really swipe it, and I don't have cash, I don't have the money for it, so I'm just gonna leave without it. I don't believe you built any discipline whatsoever in that act. Discipline would be built by saying, you know what? My financial situation is not ideal. And I need to do better, not only for the sake of myself, but for the sake of my family, my loved ones, my friends that I want to be able to help out more, etc. You get my point. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep the credit card. And I'm going to walk up and I'm going to see a product that I want. And in that moment, I'm going to say, man, I really want that. I really want this new gun. I really want this thing. But I don't really have the money for it. And in that moment, it is making the decision that even though I can purchase that on my credit card in that moment, the credit card that is in my wallet, in my pocket, I'm going to refrain from doing so. I'm going to practice the discipline of refraining from doing so because it is what's best for my financial interests, for my family, for my friends. You get where I'm going with this. With my purpose. It is in line with my purpose, and I need to be disciplined and not always do what I impulsively want to do, not always do what feels good in the moment. That is how you build financial discipline, not by cutting up the card and removing the opportunity to exercise discipline. And this capacity really, like I said, can be reflected into any other realm, I think that going to the gym is a discipline in and of itself. And for me, that has always been a fairly simple and natural discipline to fall into. I've always been involved in sports, lifting weights, things like that. Always been very disciplined physically. And I need that. That's one of my outlets. In fact, it's very peaceful for me to go out and physically exert myself on a regular basis. However, for a lot of people, it's not. For a lot of people, that's the hardest thing in their life, is having physical discipline. Controlling what they're eating, controlling their habits, and going to the gym and being physically active or going for that walk. Some people are super dialed. I have some close friends that are extremely dialed and have their financial discipline down to a T, but suffer within their physical discipline realms. And so to speak quickly on that, for me, going to the gym and working out for an hour is, number one, I've built the baseline discipline, but for me, it's something I'm naturally inclined to do. It's easier. To go for the runs that I have to go on, however, now that I'm more into the hybrid cycle of training, so I'm running and lifting basically, running is a nightmare for me. So running, as far as in the physical discipline realm, was really a mental challenge for me. However, I've had the practice of building discipline by working out when I don't want to work out, showing up when I don't want to show up. If I don't want to go to the gym at all, just saying, hey, I'm going to put my shoes on, I'm going to put some gym clothes on, and I'm just going to go get in my car. And I'm going to wind up at the gym. And I promise myself I'm just going to work out for 10 minutes. And by the time I'm at minute 10, I'm like, I might as well do do an additional 40, 50 minutes and just finish out the workout. I'm already here. I'm already doing the thing. And so I think that really for people is how you should be looking to build momentum if you have a very low baseline of discipline in any of those realms is, put yourself in situations where you must be disciplined. However, understand where your baseline level of discipline is at and put yourself in situations where you can get some small wins if you need them. If you are not someone who's very physically disciplined, you're not very regimented with going to the gym, etc., and it's important to you to build your physical discipline. It doesn't mean you have to jump to the regimen that I run on a weekly basis. All it means is you need to practice executing on the discipline of going to the gym or going to be active. So for a lot of you, if you're going 0 days a week, maybe that's going 3 days a week because you're already proving to yourself that you want to go to the gym 0 days a week. So if you go 3 out of those 7 days in a week, I know you're going 3 days out of the week that you do not want to go. You're doing something because it's purposeful to you, because it has meaning to you, and you're doing it even though you don't want to do it. That's discipline. So telling yourself, I'm gonna go 3 days a week. And you know what? I'm gonna go for 20 minutes each time. I'm not gonna get a full 45-minute to an hour workout. I'm gonna go for 15, 20 minutes. And trust me, by the way, that 15, 20 minutes, once you're already there, will very quickly transpire into 30 and 40-minute windows. Like once you're already there doing the thing, it's not as difficult to continue to do the thing. Do not underestimate the power of momentum. Momentum is huge in the world of building discipline. And the more you continue to do volume, and the more you continue to get your reps in, prove to yourself that you will do what must be done, regardless of how you feel or whether or not you feel like doing it. I'm telling you, you're going to be slowly rewiring your own brain and building that discipline that you're going to be able to call upon in all other realms of your life. For me, getting financially disciplined, even though I wasn't super financially disciplined, and not in a spending frivolous kind of way, I've never really been one of those kinds of people, not like buying luxury products I didn't necessarily need, but more so just like the tracking and understanding of how much I was making versus what I was paying out, especially being a business owner, that's very important. That was a discipline I needed to build. However, I already had the experience that I had honed and the discipline that I had built in the physical realm of my life and the mental realm of my life. And both of those very directly translated into building the financial discipline when that time came. So, if you think of yourself as being undisciplined in a lot of realms of your life, or potentially all of the realms that I've mentioned, focus on building discipline in one. And I promise you that discipline will translate into other capacities and other realms and relationships in your life. And be careful when you're searching online, when you're reading books on building discipline. There's a really great book I recently read. I believe it's Discipline Equals Freedom, or Discipline is Freedom. I can't remember the exact name of it, but regardless, whatever content you're consuming throughout this process, make sure that you are maybe getting someone else's advice on it that you know to be a very disciplined person. Make sure that you're looking through the right lens here, because there's a ton of information out there and strategies and tactics for building discipline that I see on a daily basis that is complete horseshit. Complete horseshit. And it is predicated upon basically building a false sense of discipline that makes you feel good in the short term. But then when push comes to shove, or when shit hits the fan and you go to call upon it, it's not there. At least not even close to the capacity that you may have thought that it was. And when you have to do something that is genuinely gut-wrenching or challenging, you're gonna want that base level of discipline to be there, and you're gonna want it to be solid. You're gonna need it to be solid. And so, again, be careful. And anyone that tells you that the way to build discipline is by removing the opportunity to exercise discipline, the Dave Ramsey example that I use, immediately close out of it, X out, put that book down, and trust me, it is garbage. It is complete garbage. And again, I am an avid believer in the fact that discipline is the key to freedom. But if you follow some of these false narratives, they will lead you to a life of a false sense of being disciplined and a complete lack of freedom due to that. I hope this video was helpful. Just something that I'm very passionate about. And for any of you out there, I'm telling you, focus on, doing some self-reflection, getting in line with your purpose. Like, what is the meaning of a purposeful life to you? And then focus your time and energy on a day-to-day basis on building up discipline in whatever realm or capacity you see fit. Physical discipline, mental discipline, financial discipline. You get where I'm going with this. And once you've built discipline in one of these realms, it will translate into the others. And it is this exponential growth curve when it comes to your discipline. I promise you it will change your life.